Marissa Robinson, and happy Wine Therapy Wednesday. I wanted to welcome everybody who is new to my show. I hope that you enjoy the show today and take some tips, not only for yourself, but for your friends as well and other people that you know, because sharing is caring. So welcome, and for those who have been here and you coming back on another Wednesday, welcome home, babe. We have missed you. It has been a couple of Wednesdays, so I'm excited about our topic for today, and we're going to get into it. All right, so the topic of today is Uncorked Session 32, self-care. Self-care is something that I feel like I teach in every therapy session. I kid you not. Baby, don't let somebody come in there overwhelmed. Well, what self-care have you done? What have you done to fill your cup? Right? What have you done to put yourself first and give you the things that you need, the fuel you need to keep going, right? So self-care is one thing. Oh my Lord, that is one thing that is so important for every person on earth. I feel like self-care is your thing. Self-care is what everyone needs, and I preach it all the time because you are no good to anyone else if you ain't good to yourself first by doing self-care. But anyway, let's get into the show, right? So let me not do that. Let me back up. And we're going to do the wine of the day. As you know, as we're coming into the show, this is wine therapy. So we have a wine that we introduce in the beginning of every show. And so today, the wine that I have is from my husband's job, all right? So they had some sort of happy hour where every employee, they actually gave them some wine, and they did a wine tasting for I guess a business activity, for rapport and different things like that. So I have a wine from his job, and I thought that was cool. And so I wanted to show it's a very small bottle. So, they wasn't doing too much okay, you ain't doing too much on the job, all right? Just enough for you to have this little social light before the end of the day. So, and it was a virtual wine tasting, so I thought that was too cool. But today I have a, Columbia Valley wine, Cascade wine, and this is, I always don't know how to pronounce it, but I got to figure that out. Syrah, I say it wrong. I should have Googled it first, how to say it, because I get this wrong every time. But this is a red one. Y'all know I like red wine. This is a red wine, and I've also had this kind of particular wine as well at a winery. Very strong, very bold, and it's full of flavor, and it's very, very dry, so it has that boldness to it. That's why I like it, okay? And so let's get into tasting the wine. So as you see today, I don't have a stem glass, right? I just got my little cup. And you can drink wine out of a cup like this as well. So the first thing we do is see. So you look into your glass. What colors do you see? What does it look like to you? The second thing is that we swirl, right? So after you look at it, you swirl it. I'm not going to do too much because, like I said, I don't have a stem where I can just kind of control it the way I want to. There we go. And when you're swirling it, you're opening up the aroma so that you can get all the flavor that comes out of it. So after you swirl, you smell so that you can see, what do you smell? What notes do you smell? What fruits do you smell? What oak do you smell? What is in your wine? I definitely smell oak and wood for sure. And so I know this is going to be good. Very dry, no sweetness. You don't smell nothing sweet in here. This is not Moscato, okay? This is definitely a dry red wine. And the next thing you do after you smell is that you sip so that you can get the full flavor. That is too good, honey. Ooh, that's good. This little bottle, y'all, has 14% alcohol. Why I got that much in, I ain't figured that out. But we're going to move on. All right, guys. So when it comes to self-care, a lot of times we feel guilty for putting ourselves first. Self is all about you, right? And taking care of everything that deals with you. And a lot of times, especially mommies, we feel very guilty for putting ourselves first, for giving to ourselves before we try to help somebody else. And one thing I always tell people, you can't feel guilty for something that you're going to lack in if you try to give more to someone other than yourself. One thing I can say for sure is when you do not practice self-care, you are no good to anyone else. You are doing the bare minimum of a job because you are so depleted, you're tired, and you have not refilled your cup. And so let's get to mommies, right? I have clients that come in with mommy guilt. I want to go on a trip, but I feel so bad because I left my baby and I'm doing stuff for myself. And it was so amazing. One time I had like a family session. Never forget that the daughter, this girl had to been like 12. I talked to her about self-care a lot. The daughter was my client, and then the mom, we come in and we have family sessions. We talk as a family to figure out, how can we move forward as a unit, be positive, whatever. And the mom was just, kind of having a breakdown herself and just talking about how she's overwhelmed and this and that. And the daughter was like, well, Mom, I just told you, you need more self-care. You just need to go take care of yourself. Go take a trip or something. And I felt proud in that moment because I had taught my client so much about self-care that she encouraged her mom to do it. And maybe like 2 months later, her mom went on a trip with her best friend, and her mom had the best time and came back. And the littlest things did not get on her nerves. Like, she didn't feel overwhelmed like the world was piling on her. She came back refreshed. She came back feeling great. And so I know a lot of times that mommies get into this guilt trip about, I shouldn't be going. My kid come first. All my money need to go to my child. And sometimes when your child is being a child, let's be real, your child is being a child, and because you have not taken care of yourself, them being a child gets on your nerves. Like, you get irritated with them and annoyed with them and their behavior, but they're just being a child. But because you are not filling your cup, everything overwhelms you. Everything is building on top of you. So that's why I tell moms, go get self-care. Literally, especially those who are new mommies that can go through postpartum, right? You as a new mommy, you still need time somehow or another for yourself, right? We have those support systems that can come in and watch the baby for like an hour or two. Baby, if it's just you going to get your nails done, and I tell people all the time, I feel like you getting your nails done can be self-care, but it is not the total package of self-care. When I ask people normally, like, what do you do for yourself? I get my nails done, I get my hair done. I ain't knocking that. That could be your self-care, but that's not the total package of self-care. What about you just going in a quiet space and just sitting in your thoughts, listening to music, surrounding yourself in an environment where it's like an ambiance? That could be a self-care thing. Like, you want to be in a place where you feel the vibe is good. Reading, bubble baths, things like that. It's a lot more than just getting your feet and nails done and getting your hair done. So think about that, right? So going back to like this, the mom guilt, understand that you are not a great mom when you don't take care of yourself first, when you're not giving time to yourself. And I know that may sound, I guess, bad. Maybe that sounds harsh, but it's the absolute truth. You get irritated with that kid because you ain't taking time for yourself, and they just being a kid. Especially like 2-year-olds, parents be like frustrated, want to throw the kid out the window. Okay, not for real, but just saying the irritation of it. And it's like, but he being a 2-year-old, that's what they gonna do. They gonna yell, they gonna say no, mind, and stuff, and you getting upset with him. But it's because you have depleted yourself and you have not filled your cup. And nobody said you had to be what am I trying to say? Stuck in the habit of only giving to your child. Your child needs more of you, but to get more of you, you have to give more to yourself. So everybody just take a second and think about, what is my self-care? I'm gonna be honest, my self-care is truly socializing. I know for some people who are introverts, they don't get that. They feel like, yo, my social battery going down. But I just feel like my social battery, even doing therapy all day, I come home, I can still hang out and I'm good. Like, I can still talk to my family and friends, and it's okay when I have the time, right? That's my self-care. I love being around people who love me and surrounded by like fun, communication. I love to talk. Maybe that's why I'm a talker. So, socializing is part of my self-care. Working out, walking. And another part of my self-care is riding around with no music, because I'm with myself. Like, I just got a time to breathe, and it's just peaceful and it's quiet. Taking myself out to lunch, dinner. Like, I'm married, but I'm definitely gonna take you gonna catch me outside by myself, because I like sometimes just whining and dining myself, because that's me dating myself. And I had a show sometime last year, maybe even before that, where we talked about dating yourself, self-care, dating yourself. And I find it still important for me to date myself. Even when I know when I have children, I'm still gonna date myself. I've already stated my sister's gonna be here helping me. So, I just done put that in her lap, but I just still want to date myself. Like, I love my child, but I ain't no good to them if I don't take care of myself. So I like dating myself. That's a part of my self-care. Like, I get myself flowers. I will go to the store and pick out a beautiful bouquet, bring it home, sit it on the counter. That's me all day. Like, I love flowers. I can just walk in the little, Kroger's got the H-E-B or wherever y'all stay, right? The florist part of the store. I can walk around in there all day and just be looking like, ooh, man, that makes me, it brightens me up. It fills my cup to see beautiful things. And so that's what I do. I'm not a shopper, but for some people, self-care is like window shopping. Imagining yourself in those clothes or even go buying the clothes. So, think about, what is your self-care? What are things that fill your cup? All right. So before I said all of this, the thing was not to feel guilty about putting yourself first, and why. All right. So the reason you shouldn't feel guilty is because it benefits no one. You not putting yourself first benefits nobody, not even you. Nobody can get the full you, the 100% you. Nobody can get that person that is present and in the moment. If you realize, like, sometimes when you are just overwhelmed, you're tired, you're full, you are not present and in the moment with the people that are in your space. I help you, I do this, and it's like, that's the next one, right? It doesn't benefit you to people please, because you're doing all this for someone else, not doing anything for yourself. And a lot of time for people who people please, when your time comes around and that person is not there or people are not there for you, it hurts. It's damaging. So not putting yourself first, your emotion first, does not benefit anybody, not even you. It doesn't. So one thing I would say is that put more time and effort in you and what makes you happy so that you can benefit the next person. Don't feel guilty by saying, hey, I don't have the capacity. And a lot of times we feel bad if we say that. We feel like we're going to let the other person down, but you are doing the other person a favor, to be honest. I don't have the capacity for that. I don't want to half do it. There are a lot of people who are tied to organizations and they have different commitments. And a lot of times they can't make that commitment, but because they don't want to let somebody down, knowing that they are empty and they have nothing else to give, they'll still pick it up. And then you're doing a half job, or you irritate, you got an attitude when you come to the meeting. Well, nobody asked you to get here. Okay, like, this is number one. Okay, if you got an attitude, just stay home. But because we want to people please and we want to make everybody else happy, we neglect ourselves, and that causes a lot of rift within us. And another reason not to be guilty is that it does not help other people grow. The more we put somebody else first, their needs first before ours, always coming through being the person that's going to be the crutch for them, that I'm going to make a way, I'm going to save the day. That's not helping that person grow, because you are always there standing in the gap. It's called codependency. We don't need that. I don't need that. So don't feel guilty for not being that person who's going to always be there, knowing that you don't even have the capacity to. So put yourself first. Don't feel guilty for things that does not benefit anybody, okay? And so some of the ways that you can put yourself first and have self-care is by setting boundaries. All right, so I used to work in Mississippi a while back, and look, like I said, everybody's self-care is whatever they make it to be. And it could be a certain time, right? So I was working in Mississippi, and it was a person that I knew. Their self-care was prayer and time with God in the morning. That was their thing, right? And so the boundary was from 8 to 9, no matter where they were, you could not communicate with them. You couldn't reach them. Because the boundary was there for you to know, hey, don't reach me at these hours, because this is the time that I'm getting ready for myself. Like, I'm getting time for myself. I'm doing things that fills my cup up for the day. All right? And so you got to set boundaries. I'm serious. Like, if it's a certain time, like, I used to turn my phone off at a certain time when I was in Mississippi, like 10 o'clock, that thing is off. Y'all ain't gonna reach me. I gotta go to bed. Sleep is a thing. Sleep is a real thing. And I was doing so much. So what's your boundary? Put your boundary in place. If it's a Saturday, if Saturday's the day you're not doing nothing, hey, stick to it. Saturday's the day that I don't do anything. I take time for myself. Even if it's a Saturday once a month, Monday morning, Tuesday night, whatever your thing is that you know you have that scheduled time or that is specifically for you, put the boundary there and let them know. The thing is about boundaries, I don't agree with people setting boundaries and someone does not know. Because when they cross that boundary, we get upset, but it's like, did you actually tell them what the boundary was? Did you let them know what was going on here? You just expected them to know. So I would say set the boundary. That is the first key to really starting to have self-care for yourself. What is your boundary? What is it you're going to stand on? What's the line that people cannot cross in order for you to always put yourself first? Think about it. Write it down. Find a way to tell them in the most respectful way, this is my boundary. This is what I do at this time. No, I'm not gonna, give you my car because I don't want to get up and have to do whatever. So whatever that boundary is for that moment, let them know. Let them know. Don't be afraid to share that. Another thing you can do is understand that self-care shows self-respect. Self-care shows self-respect. How you respect yourself. Hear me. Hear me. How you respect yourself is how others will respect you. How you respect yourself shows how much you care about yourself, how much you invest in yourself. So when you don't have a lot of self-care, when you don't have a lot of self-respect, you're allowing everybody else to come in and just kind of dump whatever on you because you're not showing that part for yourself. People will only treat you the way you treat you or how far you let them go. And that's why I said that boundary got to be there, because you ain't going to go for it with me. You just ain't. It's a line you can't cross. So think about, how do you respect yourself? How do you respect yourself? How do you show up with self-care? How do you love on yourself? How do you put yourself first? Respecting you shows self-care. So that's another point. So we got boundaries. We got self-respect. The other one is you have to build routines. That's why I was saying, remember the lady that was in Mississippi and she honestly had those hours from 8 to 9, or I cut my phone off at 10. What's the routine you putting in place so that you can also remember and make a habit of having self-care? What's the routine? Think about it. Think about something that you do and you like, I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to do this every other day or once a week. It is my routine. Like I have people now, and I think it's the cutest thing. I don't care about it though, but I think it's the cutest thing that people now, they have their, what is it called? Facial routines, where people literally take time to like it's not facial, it's called something else, but that has been some of my clients' self-care. They love to take care of their skin. So it's like a morning routine every morning from whatever time, or at night. They have a routine for their face, for their skin, and they be in the bathroom for hours. And they like, this refreshes me. This makes me feel great. This does this for me. And it possibly does. If that's, like I said, anybody's self-care is their self-care, y'all. We can't judge it. We just have to respect it. And so that is a routine for them to do. Facial routines, like to take care of their skin and everything. So, think about, what is your routine? What is something you do every day? What is something you do every day? Is it driving in silence every day? No matter who's in the car at that certain time when you get off work, you got to be quiet. I'm just being honest. It's an everyday thing, right? The thing is, everyday routine, whenever it is, like routine and the boundary has to be there no matter who shows up. No matter who shows up, that boundary has to be there. So setting a routine will help you manage your self-care and always put yourself first. The next one is knowing that self-care is good for your overall well-being. And I said this in the beginning. When you take care of yourself, everything else falls in place. Having self-care helps you to be better overall everywhere. Your attitude, your emotions are in check. You feel better physically. Because when you are depleted as a person, y'all, let's be honest, we grown. So when we go to work and we have a hard day, you are more than likely flushed. You're empty. You have nothing else to give. But when I go do my self-care, when I drive home in silence and I just get with my thoughts and I just have that peace, I'm starting to fill my cup again. So I'm feeling better, like I'm not so drained, because whatever was empty throughout the day has now been filled again, right? And even and I tell people all the time, when you are dealing with depression, child, self-care will change your life, because you are doing things to give you that spark again, to give you that peace again, that happiness again. Like, yeah, you have your sad moments, and I tell people all the time, it's a difference between sadness and depression. But when you implement self-care, when you go and do things to fill your cup, to make you feel better, that puts you first, you are that prize in that moment. You are the prize. Go take care of the prize. When you let the prize rot in the darkness, then no light can come in. But when you still keep that routine, even when you're not feeling your best self, you will see a difference. I'm sad, I'm unhappy, I got a lot going on, but one thing I can say for sure is that you see the difference when you add self-care. Self-care will change your life. So don't feel guilty about the next person not getting part of you, especially when you need to put yourself first. Don't feel bad about the word no. No is a complete sentence. And you're probably not saying no just to say no. It's because right now I can't do that for real. I don't have your friends call you and they want to, talk, or they want you to fix their problem. But in all honesty, can you do it if you're tired? Are you gonna be a good help? Or are you gonna have an attitude because you don't want to hear them talk because you're tired and you the one answered the phone and you the one took the call, you the one said, well, yeah, go ahead and just tell me what's going on, but you knew you ain't had no room for them folks. So why did you do that? It's okay to say no and say, hey, when I get energy, or when I feel like I can handle this right now, I give you a call back. And it's not to be rude. A real friend will respect you. Okay, let's keep that in perspective, everybody. A real friend, they'll respect that, knowing that, okay, I don't want to keep trauma dumping on my friend. And then somebody who got an attitude, and I tell people all the time, when you set boundaries and people have an attitude behind it, they're the ones that need it the most. You need the boundary more than anybody, because obviously you got a problem with it. So, just saying. So self-care is so important. And I just don't want anyone to keep feeling guilty about it, especially mommies, understanding that you need it more than anybody because you're dealing with other people's lives. And for you to be an important part of their life, to help them be the person that they need to be, to give them that guidance and give them that, that time, it's a word, dang, I be forgetting my words sometimes, but to give them that affection that they need, you have to be 100% together yourself. You have to do your part of self-care. You have to do it. Nobody can do it for you. So to be that person that you need to be for that little one that's looking up to you, take time for yourself. Put yourself first. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. All right? So I hope that you all enjoyed the show today. And make sure to share, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, tell your friends, family members, so that we can keep getting our help, y'all, because mental health is very important. So I want to make sure that we are doing our very best by spreading the word, even if it's, something that you feel like somebody else would need in that moment. Send it to them. Send it to them. Let them know. So I hope that you enjoyed the show. And until next time, let's talk about it.